note with their solidarity with all Cambodian workers, working classes same all over the world. Today we are going to visit 3 stores and we are going to deliver the letters prepared by the Cambodian unions with their list of demands, and we also have used an online and written petition that we are sending to the heads of these same corporations. Before leaving, and all those who are passing by, please sign all those petitions. Before we do that, we have invited a few speakers to talk about the importance of showing solidarity with workers in Cambodia. I would first like to introduce Bob Jeffcott from Makila Solidarity Network. Bob.
It's wonderful having all of you out here today, and I just want to tell you a little bit about the fact that there has been some success so far, that these kind of protests and the kind of pressure we're putting on brands has achieved some things, but obviously not enough, because we understand now that there are 6 union leaders in Cambodia who are being summoned because of their participation in leadership role in a strike in Cambodia in January. This was almost a general strike of garment workers in Cambodia for an increase in the minimum wage. In the meantime, 5 workers were killed by the military, and during that strike, for their participation in that strike, and absolutely nothing has been done to bring them to justice. What has been achieved, though, is there was enormous pressure on these major brands, such as H&M, such as Gap, such as a number of other companies, including some Canadian companies, in the spring. And at that time, we were successful in bringing those companies to meet with the Cambodian government and to say, let's end this repression, let's negotiate in good faith for an increase in the minimum wage. However, these brands now have to put their money where their mouth is. Basically, we're calling on the brands now to offer to increase the prices they pay to the suppliers in Cambodia in order that they can increase the minimum wage and pay a decent wage to the workers so that they can meet their basic needs. And in order to do that, they have to negotiate. They have to negotiate, the brands themselves, directly with the workers' unions in Cambodia on an increase in price that is sufficient to provide for an increase in the minimum wage. And they also have to guarantee that that increase in price goes to the workers and not to the profits of their suppliers in Cambodia. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And I would like to invite John Cartwright, Toronto and York Labour Party President, and we're pleased to have him. Mr. John.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. It's so wonderful to be here with all our friends and our co-brands from the Cambodian community who've come to this country trying to make a better life, but never forgetting the struggle back home. Being in this location, there's a piece of history here, because we're at the bottom of Spadina Avenue. And for decades, tens of thousands of workers toiled on Spadina Avenue in the garment industry. First from the Jewish refugees who escaped repression in Eastern Europe, and then later on from Portuguese and Italian immigrants, and then later on Chinese, all who were seeking a better life. But that industry, as we've seen in too many places, has deserted Toronto. They've gone in search of lower wages, of sweatshop wages. And they first went to the Macadoras, and then they went to Haiti, and then they went to Bangladesh, and now they've gone to Cambodia because they can always find governments that are willing to repress their own citizens to make for cheaper wages for multinational corporations. And that's the journey we have to remember. The journey of these jobs. Not because it's about Canadian jobs right now, but because as a city of immigrants and refugees, it is our obligation to reach out our hands in solidarity with those around the world who are producing the goods that we wear day in and day out. And solidarity is not a noun. Solidarity is a verb. it means you do solidarity. You keep on doing solidarity. You try and find the partnerships like we have had with Palim and the PMP workers and now the Cambodian workers for these last number of years. It's about signing those letters to the multinational corporations demanding responsibility and accountability. It's about going after those companies who are responsible ultimately for the deaths in Rana Plaza in Bangladesh and saying you cannot get off the hook. But right now it's about civil rights and workers' rights in Cambodia. And that's why the labor movement is so important, that we continue this struggle, why the Canadian labor movement is here in solidarity with our Cambodian sisters and brothers. That'll be solidarity forever. Thank you, sisters and brothers, for being here.
Hey, John.
Thank you, everyone. Our next stop is Adidas, just on your right, my left. Both are right. So let's move this way. Next stop. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back.
Ta. Thank you.